Hello, boys and girls. This week we're going to be doing Letterland Unit 4. Our learning target is I can read words with a silent E on the end. I can review words with the double consonants. Last week we learned about Sammy and Sally Snake, Firefighter Fred and Firefighter Frank, Lucy Lamplight and Linda Lamplight. They are best friends on the end, or we call it doubling the consonants. And we learned we do this whenever it is short, quick words and they don't like being by themselves. This week, we're going to learn about the WH. Walter Walrus finds Harry Hatman in his way. He gets angry and he splashes Harry's hat off. Then Harry is too surprised to speak. Our next two letters that you can see are the two troublemakers. When you see these two troublesome letterlanders in a word, you won't hear Walter Walrus. He is too startled to speak because Red Robot has overpowered him. The next two letters that we is Quarrelsome Queen with Uppy Umbrella. Quarrelsome Queen refuses to go anywhere in words without her royal umbrella. She carries it, so anytime you see the Q, you will also see the U. This week, we're also going to be talking about the silent magic E. Here, Mr. E made the magic E, and he gave him a wand so that he can shoot sparks over one letter to make the vowel men pop out. This week we're going to learn about Mr. I in the magic E, and we're going to learn about Mr. A in the silent E. So let's dive right in and let's look at this word here. We know by looking at this that I is Ippy Ink because that N right there is a consonant and it closes that I in and it makes it say I. So let's tap out these letters that we see here. We hear sh, I, n, shin. And your shin is the bottom part of your leg from your knee down to your ankle. That part is your shin. And if you play soccer, you know you sometimes get kicked in the shin. Now, I want us to see what happens if we add the magic E on the end. That magic E is going to sprinkle his special sparks and dust over that one end, and he's going to make Mr. I pop out. So let's tap this out. Sh, I, shine. Mr. E does not make a sound because he is silent, and he made Mr. I pop out. So we took that word shin and it became shine. Now let's look at our next letter in our words here. We have Ippy Ink again because we have the T that is closing it in. It's a closed syllable. So we know that it says I. So let's say these sounds. It, bit. But what happens if that magic E shoots his sparks over that one letter to the I to make it say I? Now let's tap that out. I, bite. It made the word bite. Now we have a new syllable type this week. And if we look here, when we write the word bite, we see that it is one syllable. So we do our train car here. And then we put dots underneath our vowels. And when we do that, we notice that there is a magic silent E on the end. And he shoots his sparks over here to Mr. I. And he makes Mr. I say his name So we put this line across the I because that tells us that is a long I. Then we're going to draw a line through the E because it's silent and it doesn't say a name. It doesn't say anything. It's silent. And we put an E underneath the rail car because this is the magic E syllable. That is new this week, boys and girls, because we have not done the magic E, but it's called the magic silent E because it's on the end and he doesn't make a sound. So here, let's look at this word. We have Walter Walrus again, who's splashing his water on Harry Hatman. So Harry Hatman is in the gray because he's too startled to say his name. So we know that all we hear is "wah." And we look here on the end, we have the magic E. He's shooting his sparks across that one T, and it's making Mr. I yell out his name. So we have the word white, white. Let's tap that out. White, white. And that is the magic E syllable. Now here we see those troublesome Letterlanders. We've got Walter Walrus and Red Robot. And Red Robot has stolen Walter Walrus. He's got a hold of him, so he doesn't say his name. All we hear is the from Red Robot. We have magic E on the end, and he is shooting his sparks across to tell Mr. I to come out. So let's tap out this word. I, right. And I want us to talk about this word right here. This write is when you write with your pencil or you write your name. But if you're talking about left or right, that kind of write is R-I-G-H-T. So when you see this word this week, when it has the magic E on the end that shoots the sparks that tells Mr. I to come out, that's when you write your name. Here we see we've got Quarrelsome Queen. And we always know that when she is out walking, she takes Uppy umbrella with her and she just says qua. We have Ippy ink because this is a closed syllable. So we have qua, it, quit. If you ask someone to quit tapping their foot, this is the word that you would use. Now let's see how it changes whenever we have the magic E on the end, where he is shooting his sparks over one letter and making I come out. And we have the word quite. And this type of quite means that something is big. It's quite the size. Now, the other quiet, like you want someone to be quiet, is Q-U-I-E-T. So this week in spelling, you're either going to have it or this kind of quiet, meaning something is huge or big. All right, let's look here. We've now changed over. We no longer have the Mr. I and EP Ink, but we have Annie Apple here. So let's tap this out. Add, mad, because we've learned that whenever AD is together, we don't separate their sounds because that's a word family. So let's try that one more time. Add, mad. And that is a closed syllable because he is closing it in. So let's see what happens when we have Mr. E on the end. Here's our E on the end that's silent. He's shooting his sparks over and he's making Mr. A come out. So now we have made. I made my bed this morning. Now let's look here at this word. We have our S and an N, and we have our Annie Apple, and we have Kicking King and Clever Cat and Kicking King. And we learned that at the end of words, they sometimes come and they make the one sound, the k, because Kicking King likes to kick and Clever Cat is watching him. So let's do our sounds here. S, a, k, snack. I would like a snack. Now, we know that this is a closed syllable because CK is closing Annie Apple in, but what happens if we put that magic E on the end? Can it make our vowel man pop out to make the word snake? It cannot, because how many letters are right here? There's 2 letters right there, and the sparks cannot go over both of the C and the K, so it cannot make the vowel man pop out. So if we want to make snake, we have to only have the K. Kicking King is there, he comes right there, and Clever Cat goes away. So we have our magic E shooting the sparks over one letter, and the Mr. A comes out. So we have snake, snake. Now let's look at, we're going to read our spelling words. And this week there may be some magic E and the words, and we may also have some of the short vowel sounds. So we've got the magic E syllable in our words, and we have the closed syllable. So let's read these words. We have shine, flake, right, grin, grade, mistake, trade, shin, wrap, while, quite, beside. And our sentences are, everyone must be quiet. Sorry, let's see if we can get our other sentence. They are going down the slide. So the sentences again, everyone must be quiet, and they are going down the slide. So boys and girls, this week what I want you to remember is some of our words are going to be closed syllables, and some of them are going to have the silent magic E. And remember that our rule with the silent magic E is that it can only shoot sparks back over one letter to make the vowel man appear. You're going to be going next to your Look, Say, Cover, Write so that you can start filling it out.